IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Alright, it's time for us to mention this is Cock and Bull, 6 o'clock live. I'll be joined by the two swordsmen. Before we do that, I have to wish everybody happy Dussehra and the festive season to follow. Then I remembered in Maharashtra it doesn't count because for Monday, we weren't allowed to work. Because for the first time in democratic history or history of democracies, a sitting government organized the Bandh. They were angry with themselves in a sense. We will shut down the city because the opposition doesn't mind, but we do mind. And we're going to stop all the forces from applying trade and commerce across the city. So I think the Dussehra will have to wait for next year. I'm not going to buy anything during this period because it took away my Monday. But before we rant about something which is dear to my heart, I wanted just to mention what I'm going to say right now is the absolute truth. And there's not a lie. I will let my two swordsmen enter immediately on this point. Today, we were shooting a show called The Week That Wasn't, that is even worse than this podcast. And Kunal Vijayakar, who is working in a feature film, playing the role of a butler or a manservant, a role of a lifetime, and a role for which he's ill-prepared, I must tell you, told us that he has a 12 o'clock call time, so we have to start early and release him in time. I found out later because we shared the same manager that the call time was 2. He rushed and abused people on that set and took off at 11:48 under extreme pressure when he had 2 more hours to kill. I am appalled, and I want to just tell those people who believe this guy is a nice man that he's a complete liar. And you know who's a complete liar, because the guy who tells you I never lie, that's the complete liar. That's the expose. And that's what he says all the time. I never lie. But we caught him. My manager told me the truth. It was 2 p.m. And nobody has 12 p.m. shifts. That's really rare. Not in a big banner film kind of thing. No. So I've exposed him.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood.
Get accustomed to womanhood.
Enjoy the experience of sisterhood.
Might get to wifehood.
Or not. Choose motherhood.
Or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
Earn a livelihood.
Change the neighborhood.
And get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha.
And me, Ayushi.
On a journey from station starting point.
To station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station. And hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
Let's welcome on Cock and Bull, Amit Doshi and Silverie. I know this sounds petty and small, but Silverie, I got to tell you, these are huge issues because Gopal comes all the way from beyond Oshiwara, some little tunnel that he has to cross and all that. And he gets paid very little for this shoot. And he ran a little late because the Dussehra market, they took Dadar, which is the most stupid thing to do on a day before the 3-day, 5-day festival, if you count Eid as well. So everybody was shopping. And it was unbelievable. So he was delayed. Our friend was jumping like a little giant panda because he's lost 14 kilos. So he's still a giant panda, but less giant. So we all felt bad actually because, he is working and all that. And then when he left, I just casually called we shared the same Pooja, our manager, for something else. And then I just said, Kunal just left. He was pissed off and all that. The thing, he had to reach at 12. No, he has to reach there by 2.
But Cyrus...
How can you lie? How can you lie like
in defense of Kunal, he's got to go from Worli to Goregaon, no?
We did it on GPS immediately. You know how petty we are, 43 minutes.
Yeah, but still...
So he reaches at 12:36, according to our calculations, for a 2 o'clock shift. So he's gone to home. He's gone to Prabha Devi to eat lunch, have a bath, have a nap, and then go. He's kept about 1.5 to 2 hours in the tank. But tell us, na? Because you're shouting at Gopal and screaming at other people, and the small thing like one file that wasn't ready, etc., etc. All the screaming and shouting was wrong. If you tell the truth and say, I just want to break in the middle, then we follow that.
Go home, take a shower and leave. We don't have much more time than that to get from Worli. I'm assuming there's a Film City or Filmalaya or one of those kinds of places.
Film City. I got everything. I got all the details and we GPSed it immediately. He had left at some 11:51 or something. He was saying 43 minutes. Listen, we are a very petty crew. We immediately got on. Somebody pulled out the phone, the GPS happened, and we exposed him completely. The man is a complete liar. And the acting, I wish he could act this well in front of the camera. The acting that he does about the stress that he's going through. What the hell? And poor Gopal, He doesn't want to shout at Gopal because Gopal's a senior actor and all that. And Gopal works really hard and comes from really far. But in Marathi, he uses the word akal, which doesn't sound right in Hindi. Okay. And while explaining his point to Gopal, he said, अगर अक्कल है तो तेरे को मालूम नहीं है कि दादर से नहीं जाना है. In his bad Hindi, using this word अक्कल and all, it just sounded like almost like a gali. And Gopal and I exchanged looks. It's not a word that a UPite like Uttarakhandite like him would use. Gopal, that is. So for him, it's, when they hear us talk in a slightly rough, more Maharashtrian Marathi style, it's already sounds abusive. So all that was going on, but I must say, we've exposed the man to be a bald-faced liar. 2 p.m. shift. Oof, my God. 12 o'clock, I would be there. I would be there 12 o'clock.
But again, all fairness, right? On Tuesday night, right? Tuesday night, I saw a bunch of tweets from people, okay, talking about how bad traffic was. It took them 2 hours plus to get from Lower Parel to Juhu. So, listen, I'm just saying.
I'm the master of this area, and I'm the master of stressful traveling. Let me tell you, 11:43 departure from Parel towards the Sea Link, and then furthermore into the main highway and just off the highway. 43 minutes peaceful drive, snoring away while the driver has to go through everything. Not a problem at all. And if he was really going cut to cut, he should have left any time between after 1. Would be fair. Okay. So he definitely completely. Come on, I can't protect him. You're just being nice. You can't protect him. This is a lie.
Nice.
This is a lie.
Okay.
But he should just, if he had kept it open or something, it would be fine. Oh, they called me and by the way, the other part of
I want to go home, take a shower before I go for the shoot. Yeah.
Let me tell you the other thing, because there are 2 types of actors. There Gopal and the Kunals. Now the Gopal type of actor gets on the set and he wants to know what the scene is. He wants to understand what the point of interaction would be, the dynamics involved, the social situation, before, after, even the lighting, technical, all these things. The Kunal actor calls up Pooja, the manager in the middle, and asks her, Pooja, I want to leave a little early. Can you make up some excuse? So he's only reaching there whenever he's reaching there, and his thought is already about how to get out of there. I just want to tell you about sincerity, man. Okay. I love this business, man. They're all types. I hate all of them, actually. I can't bear any of these types. They irritate me. The overzealous, over-enthu, the underzealous, under-enthu, those who have too much respect, those who have too little respect. There's no normal people.
Started, right? Like there's this thing going on in Hollywood right now where the union of stagehands is basically going on strike because they want to make it so that they cannot be asked to work for more than 12 hours in a row. Or basically there needs to be a 12-hour gap between shift time or something like that. Right, and that seems fair. It does seem fair, right?
It's like on paper it's there in most parts of the world, including here.
Yeah,
on paper it's there. For example, let's just go away from there. Go to driving for a minute. In the Western societies, Western whatever you want to call it, stratosphere, you cannot do a shift of more than 5 to 6 hours of driving at a time for long distance. You can check that out with anyone. The driver has to report, and he's then sent home. Because the concentration, blah, 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 all that, 5 to 6 hours.
Right.
So here also they try to implement a plan, but nobody respects it. So these guys are dying while driving. Now the second thing is the pandemic has hit everybody. So I can't understand why, including Hollywood, stalled projects, they've had breaks, etc., etc. So it's amazing that at a time like that, they're worried about this. But it's also down to commerce. I think if you're going to pay proper overtime, things will change. It's also probably the kind of money you get for the half overtime is not enough. If you double that, probably people will put their hand up and say, I'll do 12 hours or more.
I think this is also a reaction to, so there's this thing that the guys at Simplified did an episode about just like last week, right? Where they were talking about, there's been this kind of trend of people who just quit their jobs because they're like, if I don't like my job, if it's not rewarding, I've seen what it takes to live in a pandemic. I've seen what it takes to live with like less money. And I think I'm okay with that. And there's a lot of people who are quitting and stuff like that.
Simplified is superb. So you're talking about like this now, a new confidence has emerged from failure.
Yeah.
From absolute apathy and whatever you want to call it, being left in the lurch.
My job, basically the way that people are looking at employment is like quite different now, right? It's not just that, if you're somebody who's making not too much money, then you don't want to work that hard.
No, this is beautiful. This lockdown has empowered us in a sense. Yeah. You understand what you're saying? This is a great philosophy. This is something we should really delve into for a little while. Yeah, because what you're saying.
So initially, you remember though, in the lockdown, we were hearing that people were feeling like their self-worth was less and less.
And this is the reverse of that.
Their self-worth because of the work stress and all. People are feeling like, oh, I'm not well paid. all this extra work and all at home, and employers are like, oh, you should be lucky to even have a job. So now it's flipped completely 180, where people are like, I don't need to work that hard. I don't need to make that much money, I guess, to survive.
No, but
Yeah.
keeping in mind,
Right.
from the money perspective, the budgeting being different for a year or so, in some cases, people are saying, do I really need? And they've removed frills. They've actually altered their lifestyles. The fat has been trimmed. So then they're thinking, I don't need X. I need just X minus 5. So when I need X minus 5, then I'm empowered to think that, hey, you know what? You can't torture me anymore. I'll do something else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Which
announce
is
here on the
fair.
podcast that I've been bullied too long. Every day for 1 hour, I have to sit here, and it always extends more than 1 hour, and nobody else seems to care. I understand what the Hollywood guys are going through. My brothers and sisters there, and the wonderful part about the West is, as we say in the South, they pull the plug out in the shift time. So once you cross that minute, 8 hour, 12 hours, they pull the plug out. That's the phrase they use down south whenever I've worked also. They actually say that, we pull the plug out. Literally, which means the circuit is shut and you can't have any electricity, and the end of the rail pack up. So they do that. They actually do that, which is just fab. I believe China will do that. Japan will do that. Korea will do that. But they use the minutes properly. The actors on set on time. The DOP is lit properly. There's no laggardliness in the culture. But we have to change the whole culture. It's not the 8 hours or 12 hours. We can do a lot of work in the 8 hours or 12 hours, but everyone has to come on time and be ready to roll on minute 1, which doesn't happen.
The way I've seen film sets, right, most of them, or television sets or what have you, right, there's a lot of hurry up and wait and a lot of inefficiency in terms of how people use their time, right? And I think that's part of the biggest problem here.
More planning is required, more pre-planning.
There's an elephant in the room who's paid a lot of money and comes when he wants to, and he runs the shoot. Okay, and that's just too much of a problem, because most people are on time. A lot of people understand and respect their work a lot more. And they do come on time. I feel really bad because that guy's got up at 5, caught the Virar local, blah blah blah, come there. He's nail things in from 6:30 in the morning, and he's ready to roll at 9. And our great hero will be on the way, lands up at 11:30, and you start rolling at 12. So nobody calls the bluff. But that has changed apparently in this generation, who are now.
Well, no, so I think in 100%. I remember when I did my little bit of assisting, I remember like main actors coming on set like 3 hours late, 4 hours late. It was not uncommon. This was late 90s.
Names you'd like to share with us?
Not really, but I mean, like my IMDb page is not exactly like full of things, and there's only a couple of people with reputations over there.
Okay, so you have to Google Amit's lifestyle of the rich and famous from the 90s when he was working as an assistant director, and you'll know
I have an IMDb page now, so if you go to the IMDb you'll find my page and you'll know what.
So you're inviting people to enter the IMDb page and find out more about your life.
It's not that difficult to figure.
Your data is even more shared. By the way, we won't get into details, but you got a call from a gentleman wishing you
Happy Navratri.
Happy Navratri, and as usual, you're not very clear. You couldn't tell. There was no name or anything attached.
Yeah, it was basically some dude called me on WhatsApp, made a WhatsApp call, and it's like I haven't got the number saved, and you never get WhatsApp calls from people whose number you don't have saved, right? And then I look through the chat history and stuff like that. Also, there's nothing really there.
Nope.
Like, there is something there. I mean, like he sent me like some season's greetings like a year ago or some shit like that. But
there is.
Yeah,
there is another season's greeting.
There is another season's
so then it's an established relationship, Amit Doshi. There's an established relationship. That's called dementia, part of Alzheimer's. Trust me, it's so sad how if there is a God, which now I'm in great doubt of, the fact is that you still remember your childhood properly, childhood friends, relatives, all that, and you struggle with people from 3 to 5 years ago who had an important role in your life for a week or so, and you should recall them. But no, zero.
So, same person sent me a wish for Dasera last year and this year.
That's only Dasera. There's no wish that comes for Diwali,
no Diwali
for Christmas,
or
for Independence Day. The biggest one.
We also looked up this person, right, on Truecaller.
Yeah, we did. We couldn't really figure anything else.
I thought we wouldn't go into that, but yeah, okay.
I mean, so
I thought some things would be too much, too personal, and yeah. I think we're the opposite of Kunal. We just keep spilling the beans. Is it? Keep your cards close to your chest.
An inability to keep a secret, yes. Yeah, which is why conspiracies don't exist.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. Which reminds me of this whole Aryan Khan saga. It looks like procedural, the theory of procedural powering, where you basically use procedure more than the law to make sure people just get bullied or humiliated or just basically, which is what is happening. Go to the wrong court, go too late. to go into a holiday court. Now they have a 5-day holiday break because Mumbai court has decided that Monday should be given a holiday, since Friday weekend and Tuesday Eid, Friday Dashera, weekend something or the other, Sunday, and Monday should be given off as well because we all work so hard. And also last Monday was off, so maybe it's a habit. Mondays are not a working day for Mumbaikars anymore. Maybe Monday is going to be a big off day in any case. Yeah, so the way it's been played, it's a little bit shifty for me. It's just a little shifty, the whole thing. I don't know. It,
There's a term for
clearly
this,
looks
no?
like bailable offenses. They've just not been able to present for long. It's always at the end of the day. It's always beating the clock. It's just too much of that.
Yeah, but there's a term for this, right? It's called the process as punishment, right? And it's not just used in courts. It's used in like tax issues and stuff like that as well. It's used in a bunch of different places where it's just like
Stalling tactics also, like filibustering as they do when they talk forever in Parliament. So it's something in that line. But isn't that unethical?
Well, no, it is, but again, it's something that it happens all the time, right? Governments do this all the time. It's not like unique in this case or this, right? I mean, like,
did you know that if they didn't get the bail hearing by under 5 in their favor, even if they get it before the clock strikes 5 and whatever, they need a little time because at 5:30 all the paperwork stops. So to get the bail forms filled and all, which is in another location, so if you do the maths, they have to basically get the bail at about 4:10, 4:15 to have a chance. After that, it becomes a real lottery, and by 5 it's impossible. So this is again, the British have left all this behind. It's beautiful bureaucratic procedural work that allows you to punish somebody as much as you can before you get to the actual point of law and the case itself.
It's not so outdated in a world of email, right? I mean, like, you have to actually physically take things from here to here and here to here.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off it's almost vulgar. It's wrong. A court can't go off for 5 days. It's just not right. A very reputed lawyer who works out with me was telling me, I mean, we are surprised. We've just come through 2 lockdowns. Why is everybody in a hurry to take days and days off?
Well, because you get a long weekend and you're like, okay, long weekend. Hey, I had a day off today.
Doesn't anybody want to work? Doesn't anybody want to work anymore?
No,
Kunal goes to makes up his own timings, goes there and wants to leave. What's going on with this country? How do we save it?
There was another in the Aryan Khan case. There's Aryan Khan's lawyer, right, has been making this argument, which has just come to light.
Two, the one was Salman's old Amit Desai, same name as our leader, and
Correct.
also Satish Manishinde, who's a celebrity lawyer from whenever, a good drinking partner of mine in the old days. Yeah. Show off.
So one of the things that apparently now came out is that Aryan Khan never even apparently made it onto the ship. He and his friend, by the time they reached the entry of the ship, right, the raid was already in progress. So they were asked at entry, are you guys possessing any drugs? Aryan Khan didn't, but the friend, Arbaz merchant, he did. He had like some 5 grams of charas.
5 grams of charas?
Yeah, he had charas, 5 grams of charas. Yeah. But they got arrested even before getting on the ship. Or maybe after they got caught, they come on the ship and then you'll be part of this raid now. It's just
so they've made Arbaz and Aryan the Billa Ranga of this generation, over 5 grams of charas without entering the party. It's so funny, actually, the whole story.
You know that they are connected to international drug cartels. Too.
Yeah, no,
that's what they're saying now.
Cuba itself is controlled by them. Colombia, forget.
So another very interesting, I don't know why this statement would come up, but Additional Solicitor General Anil Singh, he is part of these proceedings. He is part of the people that is part of the team that is investigating Aryan Khan.
He's the main
and he says, I think he's the main prosecutor. Yeah, exactly. So he's saying, this is a quote from him. He says that the innocent until proven guilty cannot apply in cases of NDPS offenses.
What?
It's something he said. He said is that he also drew parallels between this case and Riya Chakrabarti's case, noting that WhatsApp chats and photos are proof against the former. But WhatsApp chats cannot be used as evidence in your case, but they can be used to call you for questioning and stuff.
Let me remind the good court about the Ordnob WhatsApps. You guys remember that? About the meetings in the PMO and the what have you about Pulwama that was about to happen and all that.
Also, then the BARC WhatsApp chats that came out.
There you go.
The TRP ones. Yeah.
TRP is inadmissible.
Yep.
Okay, now what they've done is, for most liberals, is that even if you weren't pro Shah Rukh Khan or pro whatever, everybody's like just thinking that the dice is cast against. They're just kids end of the day first year, which I know that doesn't sound right to say, but I just feel that when you're young, you should be given a little rope. Okay, and let's go after the ones who've had more chances in life to attain better reputations. It's a bit. I don't know, frustrating, sad. And then apparently our great actor said that he wants to send his son to America or England. And so people are now reacting that, Deshdrahi kind of attitude. Bro, I would send my son away from India in a heartbeat if he was in this situation. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Because you obviously
Yeah,
feel a little
absolutely.
persecuted at the moment. Think about it from an emotional point of view. A father's, whether you're Shah Rukh Khan or just Mr. Khan, the waiter, you still, your son is your son and you want to save him.
It's
How can you say it's not
Yeah,
persecution?
absolutely.
it's insane. It really is. I mean, I don't get it. I don't even understand what is the sense, right? What is the agenda, right? Because again, we all talk about there's an agenda behind this, right? What's the agenda?
I will come to that, but I just, I mean, we can only, it's hyperbole to some extent. But in civics, if you remember law first year that I did, using public office for personal, public machinery for personal gains. Okay, that's a proper like crime. It's
Yeah.
explained properly, and this slightly falls into that because people are being attacked because they philosophically differ, or they are soft targets, but they are loud voices, etc., etc. If you do the maths and all that, it seems to be that those who would have been close to the powers that be, if it was their kid, nothing would have happened. You and I both know that without taking names. But if it's someone, one of the rare ones who's not that close and clearly closer to the one strong opposition who ruled the country, but now God knows the leader's doing push-ups. So it looks like there's a lot of that involved because the punishment doesn't fit the crime, and more importantly, the persecution doesn't fit the crime. They're persecuted right now. They're like real victims.
Isn't it honestly? Isn't it just like it is straight up this only, right? I mean, like it's malicious, right?
It
There's
is
no
politicized.
yeah, there's no other way to look at this, right? There's no logic to it. There's no sense to it. Honestly, you walk around like any of the South Bombay neighborhoods and like the office areas and stuff like that, you'll see more than that, just like all over the place.
Amit, we've all
So
been to parties with more than that all
yeah,
around the place. I mean, if you want to take action, you take action. That's your call. I personally believe that, morality also, yeah, they've got to figure this out because to me, if you want to look at what really is wrong with India, this is not really the biggest issue. There are more. There are much more things that you have to look at too. And we want to break the drug nexus and all that. If you really want to bring the drug nexus and all that, why are you making it so public and open? You have to quietly find out who these guys are and quietly find them. What you're doing is finding the pushers will all go into hiding immediately because it's all over the news. They'll all disappear, and you're left with this low-hanging fruit.
that's the lesson that you learned in other parts of the world, right? That basically the second this stuff is not illegal, all it goes into it just turns into a different thing altogether. All the crime associated with it just starts to disappear.
Was it
Right?
Portugal who made it legal? They
Portugal
discussed
has
this.
made everything legal. Like Portugal, there's no illegal drug anymore. But you are in the US right now. So many of these states are legal. Amsterdam is legal. Germany, I think, is legal as well. Canada's got a bunch of legal. Canada, no, Canada's entirely legal.
Uruguay was the first country to
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
legal.
So there's
Just
a
years ago.
Parts of India as well, guys, during certain festival.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
hey,
well,
hello, we've got our own terms
well,
and
actually,
conditions
in
apply.
India, it's legal depending on how it's made, from what I understand.
You mean
Right?
like
Very
bhang is
nice.
legal, is what I'm saying?
Bhang is
Yeah,
legal as
yeah, yeah.
opposed
So
to
half ounce of
hash is
this and
legal.
quarter
Yeah.
ounce of that. Mix
Again,
all
that also
together.
makes no sense. That
It
also
No
makes
doesn't.
no sense.
sense.
That disparity between bhang and
Whoever wrote that must have been taking bhang at the time. Come on,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
clear. That's the hypocrisy in all this, which is terrible. And people have been executed in places like Singapore, etc., Thailand, etc., for just marijuana. And when you think about it, it's really like it's horrendous. It's a real crime that they were killed for smoking a joint. Killed. There's something very wrong with this world, but I do think in this particular case that we need a revolution. But just you're not a morning person, Silverie. Otherwise, I'd ask you to join. 5 in the morning tomorrow, I'm going to be standing outside the sessions court and screaming my lungs out. But apparently, it's closed. The Shera.
Oh.
बेटा आज ने तू Wednesday पे आ जा. Imagine you're a foreigner. How will you understand? How do you explain to the foreigner who has to go to court for his own personal case? Like, we've got this thing called Dashera. Then we've got Saturday, which is some Dashera ka second part. Then we've got a thing called Sunday, which is a Western culture thing, but today we'll take it. And then we've got Monday.
They call it a Sabbath, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which, when it's their thing and they decide that it's not Indian, then it's not Indian, that we are following the Roman calendar. Don't worry. Our country is beautiful that way. There are every different way to look at every different thing. It's amazing. It's like the Clint Eastwood movie, Any Which Way You Lose. Yeah. But it's a sorry state of affairs because it's a big profile case and it's seen abroad and we start looking again like a kangaroo courts and all that,
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks like everybody's in the palm of whatever. Difficult to prove it's not now. Because across the appellate system, if people are going to stand up and say, hey, it's just a bunch of kids who may or may not be taking drugs, bail first, and then let the case trial happen.
One of the things that I've always thought that even with this thing that happened with Riya Chakrabarti way back when, right?
Right.
I hate putting motives on people and stuff like that when they're doing this. And I'm also not a fan of saying that how the press complaining about how press covers stuff, right? I mean, press is press. They do market. They respond to market forces and ideological forces both. And you know what
I'll
you're
cut you
doing.
there for a second. See, I think the problem here, there's an ideological issue here, slight, which is we'll play both sides for a second. If I own the media, then I want the story that's going to make people watch. Yes or no? And that's
Yeah.
fair because we both believe in that. Success is important, so that's fair. But then on the other hand, the media starts making a lot of noise and that influences the decisions and the thoughts of the powers that be. So then is that fair? Because then where's the free and fair hearing? I've taken a position as the media. I'm saying that. I'm just saying that.
But the media is a part of society, right? And media is a reflection of society. And again, the fact that the media responds to market forces means that it is responding to the forces which are asking for certain things to happen and for the reactions to be in a certain way. It's a bellwether, right? I mean, I don't think that that's in doubt. So I mean, I don't know. It's
I don't know. It's been proven throughout history the majority is always and almost always wrong. B, so populace is of no help. B, honestly, I don't know how human beings cannot get influenced. You have to understand, if you see the guys, and we work in news channels, you see them when they come for interviews and stuff. A lot of people in the lower echelons of power and all are very happy to be featured. You see, and then once they do that, the media and them are like a cohesive unit. They're almost talking the same thing after some time. They're like pals. And there's a fear. What were those two guys who were? Please stop holding hands. Police, if you're listening, put handcuffs on our people. Stop holding the hands like boyfriend and girlfriend and walking around. We're the only country in the world where they hold hands and take the guy like, chalo. There were the two guys who held them. Apparently, one is a BJP card-carrying member with no real standing,
right.
and the other one is a guy who's under investigation for fraud, private detective from Malaysia.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with the NCB. NCB said they have nothing to do with them. You saw that. Who's the famous kid from Germany with the millions of followers who's come on the show? He's done a lovely expose on it.
Okay.
Come on. We've had him on the podcast. Help me with names.
Somebody from Germany?
Yes.
Kid from Germany.
I've got dementia. I can't remember anybody from 5 years ago.
Wait, during the lockdown?
Rathi. Surname is Rathi.
Dhruv Rathi.
Dhruv
Rathi. Oh, yeah.
Time.
I think you
have a superb expose on this. Please, a lovely explanation. Please watch that. It's a short episode.
I will go do that. But Dhruv Rathi is not from Germany.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the location.
He doesn't live in India. He stays abroad and he makes videos about India by saying abroad.
Okay.
I thought it was Deutschland. I heard him speaking in German to his girlfriend or friend or something.
Maybe he is Germany. I don't know.
I'm not sure about Germany. I know he's from a different country. I'm not sure.
You see how openly he's speaking? He's not anywhere next to the session spot. He's not next to the session spot. I can tell you. Like our reporters. And a story is developing here. And at the back at the moment is the Aryan Khan case. And we are trying to find out with the chance of getting bail. It's not that reporting. This is the slightly better one. You better listen to it. It's really good.
Like that, Akash Banerjee is commendable because he's in India, in Delhi, and making all the videos that he makes.
But another government is running that. So for now, he's safe.
I mean, true.
No, opposing governments are no prediction of anything. Now, Maharashtra is not exactly a government that's happy with the same way Delhi is.
Maharashtra is a tough one. You don't know what you're going to get from Maharashtra.
Yeah.
Because you got 3 people in power, not 1. So that's the other problem. You don't even know who you're offending. You got to be careful.
Yeah. No, it is. It's insane, right?
Yeah. No. So just last thing on that before we have to take a break also, I think, which is those two guys. So how can they're persona non grata? It's like me and Amit actually holding these young kids and taking them wherever I want to across the road. Who are they? How did they get there? They have no official capacity. Please answer this question. It's a very serious question. You're talking about security, high-profile people in a high-profile case, and who are these two monkeys walking around? No one's explaining that to us. What is their right to be there?
Yep.
NCB saying, I don't know. Police saying, I don't know.
Yeah, they try to avoid answering the question.
They avoid answering the question.
Yeah.
Because they know they're not supposed to be there. Or are they? So what the hell is going on? What is the truth? It's really funny, the whole thing. Come on.
I think it's all fairly self-evident, right? I mean, it's not exactly deeply hidden what's going on.
And even they are holding hands. I mean, I'm going to request all future criminals, please ask for handcuffs or carry your own. Say, my lord, I'll be wearing my own handcuffs. I don't want to hold his hand. You hold your hand and walk around like it's a happy day in summer. You are also the River Thames with a basket. You're going to go have a nice picnic, listen to Freddie Mercury sing. No, it's not that. It's a horrible moment. The person doesn't want to be touched by some stranger and walked across the road like a Pomeranian. Silverie's found some breaking news from his expression. What happened?
Prithvi has just said in the chat that the person you're talking about, the private investigator guy, Gosavi, There is a lookout.
Gosavi.
Yeah, there's a lookout notice from Pune police for Gosavi, the guy who took a selfie with Aryan
He's
Khan
right.
because he has duped some
Yeah.
guy in a transaction of some sort.
Yes.
NCB should be in the docs list.
That-
What?
Really? Silverie, is literally that I'm watching TV and you're there. It's literally like that. There's no reason for you to be there. You're holding Aryan's hand and walking on the road and you're happy. You're like a tourist. You got a smile. I mean, the body language, you look like he's doing a job. Till the
Yeah.
cameras focus on them and then suddenly they obviously panic a little. And then suddenly they become all high-handed. No, until then they're like just happy guys. Oh, Shahrukh ka beta hai. Dekha, Shahrukh ka beta mera haath mein hai. Dekha, selfie hai. What the hell?
Yeah.
And Amit came back from America. Well,
Yeah, I did.
but as they say about Christ, he wanted to suffer for the people. So, maybe you're like that.
Yes,
Because there's a Christ in all of us, that there's
I'm
certain
very self-sacrificing.
magnanimous and self-sacrificing sort of
Yes.
personality. Yeah. Silverie, will you buy that or you're not high enough?
I'll buy it.
Oh, man. Really. Amongst the top 10 things I hate about being in India, like with spitting or when you pee in a urinal, the man stands next to you and men holding hands crossing the road, is the police holding your hand. I can't, I freeze. I'm like, why? It's medieval. With all the stuff that they're buying, they can't buy handcuffs. Handcuffs. Every Hindi film ends with the guy putting his hands up like this. And there's no handcuffs. The guy puts his hands up like this. Let's say it's the famous Vinod Khanna 80s, 70s film. He puts his hands up like this and his hand is caught and held in a hand grip and taken by More. More says, come with me. And what the hell? What do you do this for? Sorry, we couldn't afford.
Was
Due to
Vinod
budget
Khanna in that
constraints.
movie? There was a movie called Hatkadi,
How
no?
did that one end?
Hatkadi.
Hatkadi, I think it was him. I don't know, because the subconscious reference came in my head.
I think it was him, no?
Why would it come? Silverie is too old, too young, so we can't
I
blame
don't
him.
know
It's me.
this. Not at all.
Yeah.
Let's see. I will check while we do the
Look
break.
what we've done. He's got the Kunal bug. Now he can't move on with the show.
Oh wow, there was a 1985 movie and a 1982 movie called
Where?
Hatkadi.
There are two with the same title.
There are two. Yeah, there was one in 95, which is Govinda, Shilpa Shetty, and Shakti Kapoor. And there's
He
one,
mustn't have turned up for the shoot, so they had to complete it in 85.
and there is one in 82 with Shatrughan Sinha. That's the one I'm thinking of. Shatrughan Sinha and Rina Roy.
There's so many images like that when we were growing up. Yeah, they always do that in the
No,
court,
yeah.
whatever. I mean, but there's no handcuffs.
I think you're thinking of the
It's
movie.
handheld.
Maybe you're thinking of Vinod Khanna. So maybe you're thinking of the movie Giraftar. I feel like that was Vinod Khanna. I don't know. There's so many of these. Who knows?
Yeah, they all morph into each other after some time. No? A lot of films I used to watch 50%, 60% also. Ones that would come on Sunday. So watch a bit, then go, then come back. Sorry, Silverie, nostalgia. I can't explain it to you.
I think you're thinking of this movie because it's got like three people on the thing, and all three of them have got
the poster.
all three of them are holding the.
Yeah.
handcuffs.
So which film is that?
It's called Giraftar, but it's not Vinod Khanna.
I think okay.
It's where did it go? It is Amitabh Bachchan, Kamal Hassan, and Rajnikant. And I cannot believe that I don't remember this movie.
But, Rajnikant and Kamal Hassan together with Amitabh, I can't remember. Rajnikant and Amitabh, I remember 3 or 4.
Yeah, I can't believe I can't remember this
Wow.
movie.
Yeah.
I can't believe I don't remember this movie.
I wonder, would be an interesting thing because Rajni can speak Tamil and Marathi, and Amitabh can speak Hindi and English,
And these are like
and Kamal Hassan can speak English and Tamil. So how do they do this? Because
I
at least
don't
got a
know.
little bit here and there.
these are like the three biggest actors,
Biggest
aren't they?
stars.
Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
India.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And at that time as well.
What a star cast. Exactly.
Yeah.
how do we not remember this movie? Amitabh Bachchan, Kamal Hassan, Madhvi, Poonam Dillon.
Because it must have tanked, yeah. Because whenever they use these 3, 4 mega stars together, it never worked. Ajuba downwards. I don't think it. Can you name one mega
I
star
don't think-
cast?
But Amitabh Bachchan had no flops in the 80s, man.
By his standard, it may not have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a Lavaris or a Khoon Pasina, Mr. Natwarlal, all those big ones.
Yeah.
Those were without Shan. Shan didn't do well. And we love Shan. Shan is an iconic film. Explain that.
Yeah, actually, that's right. I love Shan.
Shan is great.
Everyone
Love
loves
I like
Shan. You like Shan?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
it
like
didn't
Shan.
run. It didn't
Shan's
run. It didn't make the kind of money they expected. It was considered
Really?
by Amitabh Bachchan standard the flop. Yeah.
I used to love that Janu Meri Jaan.
It's got 25 iconic moments which are kept in plays
Great.
and college plays
Yeah,
and
the
all that.
shark water tank thing.
All that,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, very true.
So it's huge. Yeah, it didn't run.
What was that? Shakal, right? That was that
Shakal,
guy's
yeah.
name. Kulbhushan Karbhad.
I don't know what happened to him. For a little while, he was a big villain, and then he sort of disappeared into TV.
He
I think.
became like doing a lot of father roles and stuff like that, right? I feel like he's been in a lot of
Let's
stuff.
get some of these old great legends of our time
Yeah, we should try, for sure.
on the podcast. Let's revive the memories.
We
Yeah.
should
Let
definitely
the
try.
young Silveries get to know them better.
Can we take a break?
I think we should take a break. I really enjoy driving, but I hate Mumbai traffic, which is completely true. I don't get me started. Yesterday, I banged into a taxi through no fault of my own. Well, obviously, the taxi driver's fault. I mean, is it ever not? And just hear me out. Written behind the taxi was, there's a reason why I banged, and this is the reason, hear me out, was Kotak home loans now only at 6.5%. So 6.5%, folks, it seems so unbelievable that out of shock, I obviously crashed into the taxi. I'm surprised people don't crash into this car every single day because of this. And that too, he was parked on the side. So guys, kripiya dhyan rakhiye when reading such things. I don't even mind paying him for the repairs because I'll be saving so much on the interest rate. So really, I don't care. But just visit www.kotak.com for more info or visit your nearest Kotak Mahindra branch today. Or if you see that taxi guy, he'll help you. He'll probably drive you there as well. Because I fixed his car. I'm so happy. I gave him $20 extra. Terms and conditions apply. Interest rate starting at 6.5% per annum. We're talking about something very deep, or we're getting into some real big discussion. This is what I like about the world, that we can go back to commerce with a nice ad. And you realize that there's no single street. The streets are together wherever you go. Yeah. All right. So where were we? Did we do any topic? We sort of did, right?
We did not do like a proper topic. Let's do one. This is very interesting. The news outlet Print has come out with this article basically which says that why is Rahul Gandhi India's worst dressed politician and why that matters for Rahul Gandhi at least. It is to say that Rahul Gandhi is not able to give like a consistent message. Like a lot of things, it seems like he's all over the place about a lot of issues. As to his popularity, his clothing could play a big factor, because if you think about it, in India especially, Indian politicians' clothing plays a major factor in their persona and how they're perceived. If you talk about, please go ahead.
No, before you mention all the guys, I'm just saying, is it wrong but to not have your style is changing styles? You see, a lot of people think that's hip.
It's absolutely not.
No, one second.
It's not wrong, but the perception, the way you're perceived, I think that's what, at the end of the day, what matters is how politicians perceive.
Like a uniform. So a uniform, it works. Because you're about to tell us, like, Mamta is known for her certain type of saris, right? But after 40 years, you'd expect a little makeover, right? And Mayawati, only the handbag changed color twice in 25 years, for example. Our Prime Minister has these very ethnic sort of look.
Modi ji, the article calls Modi ji the top fashionista of Indian politicians. Calls him the top fashionista of Indian politicians because...
Why? Say why? I love the...
It says Modi has the standard of choice of clothing for all events. So every event will have like a specific kind of like theme or something for his clothing. Modi's standard choice of kurtas, churidar pajamas and colorful Nehru jackets is iconic and instantly recognizable. So that's why he's called a top fashionista.
That Modi needs the Nehru jackets to be fashion, to be the fashion.
Wow.
I love that.
So he's embraced philosophies outside his own. That's good. That's a good sign for India. But I think just the more sharp and shrewd politicians, and we do that in our daily life as well, you dress for the market. That's why you wear your suit for your meeting, right? You're dressing for the market. And if you're talking to someone else, you sometimes dress down for whatever reason to reach their level. And so you're communicating with your clothes. If that's your point, then maybe he does it better, or his team is good at doing it. And maybe Rahul Gandhi doesn't think it through enough. But on the other hand, I've never seen him, to me, he doesn't appear to be badly dressed. Unkempt.
He's never badly dressed. I would
dressed.
say if regular common man, he's actually the most well-dressed person, but not politicians-wise. Politicians, I think, require like some kind of like everything they do is considered to be some kind of a
just being white kurta day in and day out. What should he have done? I mean, give us a suggestion.
Come up with your own identity.
What he shouldn't do is the push-ups. Did you see the push-ups video?
Yes, yeah, correct.
Now that he should have done in Parliament and challenged the opposition, because I think he would have won that easily. I can't see the opposition really getting down and then getting up again. I mean, that would be end of the session. Just that. Yeah. Amit, any comments on the fashion choice?
Well, no,
Sorry, Rahul Gandhi was doing the thing in the middle though, right? Like the kurta pajama, white kurta pajama with the black.
It's not consistent. He has all types
It's
of
not
clothes. I
consistent.
mean, you go on the net
He has
right now, you'll
jeans
see
and
10
all.
looks.
He has regular.
Yeah.
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 And I think that's the question, right? I mean, like, I think they made a choice because, again, I don't think any of these politicians approach this in a haphazard way because, appearance
No.
matters, perception matters, right? So it's not like, it's this. So he made a choice that I want to look like, your normal standard 20, 30, 40-year old and how they dress on a normal basis. That's how I'm dressing. And that backfired.
And for some reason in India, I think a lot of people feel that white, the color purity is very important. So you see, 75% of them have some sort of white or strong white dominance in the clothing, which I also find racist in some way. I mean, don't black clothes matter? Or couldn't we do other colors? I mean, just mix it up a little bit for God's sake. Okay, sorry, not to be insensitive, but
Okay.
you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes.
It's just too much white because they all
So-
look the same to me.
The article goes on to say Rahul Gandhi's inconsistent imaging, wearing jeans and t-shirts on one occasion, followed by kurta pajamas at another, shows a leader who has yet to adopt a fixed image. The print argues that he also fails the consistency test in terms of his facial hair, choosing to remain clean shaven on some occasions and sports stubble on others. The facial hair thing is not.
Sylvia, I want to tell a quick
Not
story here. I know
consistent.
we'll run out of time. My favorite politician and the first one I got to interview in my
Okay.
life was Rajesh Pilot in 1996, beginning of my MTV so-called journey. And we were shooting in Delhi, obviously.
Hmm.
And Barka and all were shooting also. They were called Star, I think at that time. I don't even remember. But there were 3-4 channels. And he was in kurta pajama and speaking in chaste Hindi and all that. And it was nice enough to give MTV an interview. And we're talking about the voting process and all that for the youth, etc. Rock the vote, or we had come up with a campaign. So he says, give me 2 minutes. He goes in and comes back in jeans and a t-shirt. One. Two, he switched to English for whatever reason. Nobody asked him to. Okay. Then I had to, I said, sir, ye clothes change kyun kiya? So he's actually said different strokes for different folks. Literally.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I love. Then he told us that whole milk story I've narrated 3 times on the show and all that. He was fabulous, but he was so candid and open. It was almost like this is marketing. Now I was with these guys talking to that audience. I'm with this guy talking to this young audience of urban India, and this is how I want to portray myself. I thought he was spot on. So what is Rahul Gandhi doing wrong? Unless he's getting the market wrong, but by changing clothes, what is he doing wrong? Because if he goes to Sophia College, he's talking to one type of people, and he goes to a tribal belt, and he's talking to another type of people. I would say that the clothes do merge with who you're talking to.
But the difference being that you in 2021 compared to 1996, in 1996 you could do different strokes for different folks without having to worry about those
Yeah, it
streams
doesn't
getting
come back to haunt
crossed.
you. Yeah.
Today, now what happens is that you might be doing something for the people at Sophia College, but that still gets spread on Twitter and WhatsApp and all the rest of it. Or you might be doing something for farmers in like the poorest district in Assam, and that's still going to get spread on WhatsApp and Twitter and what have you, right? So you don't have the same degree of control of where the message goes out. So you have to control the message itself.
So what we're saying is he's got his planning wrong in some cases, because he's gone from one to the other in perhaps a wrong outfit. Then perhaps the unkempt look is disrespectful for certain people. They take offense or feel that you don't care enough. For some people, I know it's just ridiculous to think like that, but for some people it is. And why has he not shaved? I've been told by people sometimes, sir, why haven't you shaved for the meeting and all that? They've said that. They just take umbrage for some reason.
Only Kunal, right? Nobody else, right? Nobody else
Kunal
would
is
care.
actually, you're right. Kunal is very conservative
Yeah.
about all this. He always wears long pants for meetings and
Yeah.
all that. And I'm like, but Kunal, why can't you? If that's what you are, then just be who you are. But he does that. So he's a politician and a liar, as we exposed him in the beginning of the show. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Rahul Gandhi. I always got the feeling. Maybe this is urban philosophy or urban cultural settings that we have, because he leans towards us and we adjust and sort of identify with him. I've always thought he's the best looking and the best kept in every way, including clothes and all that. But it may be more because his urbane looks.
He's made a choice to be more kind of natural urban this, right? But it might not have been the right choice. I don't think it is the right choice, right? Given how many different constituencies he has to address, he's got to find a look that or an appearance or a persona that fits as many places.
That's why you got to hand it out to Yogi. See, the thing with Yogi is what you see is what you get. Now, whether you like it or not is a second story, and whether you believe it or not is a second story. But what you see is what you get. There is no change in the look. Have you ever seen a change in the look?
No, because all of our Indian politicians, most of them follow, like, it's always the same. Like, it's Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Yogi Adityanath, any random politician, kurta pajama, it's all like, it's the same logic in many ways, right? Find a look, stick to the look.
But Yogi's his dhobi committed suicide because there's like no work. It's just one yellow thing. I'm just like, just too much. There's no variety, nothing. But it works for him. So maybe, I don't know. I don't think that works because Rahul can't be him. His whole block is a little different and all that, so it works for him.
Yeah.
This guy is an urban guy. Why is he denying it? So he's a jeans guy wherever he can be. He is a westernized guy. He can't deny all that. I
Yeah,
think
but if
denying
you
it,
want to-
you can still reach out to people if they like you. You don't have
Yep.
to always try to be them. Sometimes people like you. I've gone to places and got good receptions when people can't understand the language I'm speaking. I've gone to places in Kerala where they don't speak English or Hindi, and they still sort of enjoyed the interaction. Just
Yeah.
just had fun.
Yep.
So I think sometimes we go out of our way to it almost it's all patronizing after a point, that I'll try and immerse. I'm a Muslim, I put on a Muslim cap. You don't do that. You just talk nicely to people and they like you and whatever, and that's it.
I agree.
Why am I lecturing? I'm no politician. I can't even handle the building. They don't want me to put my gym back up. Praveen on the 8th floor, I say, no, it makes too much noise. What do you think? Freaking weights? What are we supposed to do? You just polish them? What do you go in the morning, polish the weights and then go back down? Amazing. I don't want to start with my problems. Separate show for that. Should we do the AMAs?
To do the AMAs.
It's so difficult to understand so many things in the tech world, like artificial intelligence. I should know this by heart now. Let me test myself. What is that? It sounds just like science fiction. I was right. Luckily, though, Intel's digital readiness program empowers everyone with skill sets, mindsets, and tool sets to use in an AI-fueled world so you don't end up like me. As part of the Intel for Youth program, Intel's been working with the CBSE, the Ministry of Education, and the Government of India to empower today's youth to build social impact solutions while demystifying what AI is. So there's hope for people like me. How do you take advantage of this? Purchase an Intel Core-powered PC and you get free access to 80 hours of immersive and hands-on training about AI. On completion of the program, along with a certificate, you get access to AI toolsets to try to put what you learn to good use. So don't wait. Log on to futurebanawonderful.intel.com. Future Bana Wonderful by bringing home an Intel-powered PC today. Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored. I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. As Pearl Padamsi used to tell us in theatre when we had empty houses, 30 people in the audience, they're doing it for love. I was like, really? Can we not do it for love? Can you one day do it for people? As people, so when you have a full house finally and they clap when you enter the energy level, Silverie, you perform, it's so much easier now. Because there's so many people there that you just need a few of them to, be on your side and you're up. But with 20 people, it's like, you're in the school lunch break, they bring you into the faculty room or something. And the 20 people are taking down notes. You're too skinny, you don't eat well. I don't know, it's scary. Huge audience, 20 people, no effect coming from them.
Are you complaining about small venues or are you complaining about venues which are large with very few people?
We did a play called Godspell where Bugs Bhargava Krishna played Christ. It's a musical. He's a fat, darkish man and going with the American trend to get away from Caucasian Jesus. And he's a beautiful singer and a great actor and great fun. But it was rejected a lot for whatever reason. This is back in 1989. I was in college, first year of college, 1990. And so we had to Baidas, for example, which is a hardcore Gujarati theatre stronghold. And we weren't able to fill it up at all. I mean, we were like 50 people or something in the audience.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge audience. And so much so that we are 12 of us on stage. So we'd all go and sit in the audience when we are not performing. Clap and all that. Don't know, I've done horrible things to survive. This has not been the worst phase of my career. They have been worse. AMA?
Yes, sure. So first off, we have a couple of questions, like the same question asked by Janil Bain and Spurti Venkatesh. They ask, have you guys watched the House of Secrets show, the Burari Deaths Wala? It is the most insane thing ever. Did you get a chance?
Not yet.
Okay, please check it out. Then we can talk about it next week.
I can't watch anything which is horrific if my wife's not there because I get scared. I get scared. So I need someone in the room.
I mean, you will feel a little scared in the second episode, but there are only 3 episodes. You'll bounce through.
While watching, fine. Later in the night, I feel scared, Silverie. Tere paas baby hai
Okay,
kya?
fair enough.
Can you loan me?
Baby, not yet.
Yeah, so
but it's a great show. I would still recommend because Cyrus, you like true crime. You like a lot of true crime stuff.
I love the whole genre, but I'd like her to be there because then later on, if I have a bad dream moment, I can't now crawl into bed with my 79-year-old mother. I mean, there's a limit now. She'll be like, that's it. Indian mothers, they overdo it, but that's it. That's it. That's the line. So tell us about it. Sorry, give us a quick synopsis. So it's a mass murder.
So basically, like we already talked about it in 2018. There was one of the biggest cases.
The suicide, mass suicide.
Yeah, mass suicide. 11 members of a family.
Watch that.
Oh yeah.
The kids
and all,
man. It's amazing.
It's hanging,
Yeah, yeah.
right? They hang them and all, no?
They hang, like, it's a mass suicide, a case of mass suicide, and it
Jeez.
raises a lot of questions about the media and how the media covered it. They talked about like how the media, like, again, the media circus around that, because it was the biggest, like,
Yeah.
very unique case for this time.
Are you saying the copycat killing happens because of the fact that you spiral the story up and it almost gets like a glamour quotient to it,
That's, yeah.
and then the copycat behavior starts? As with the Jim Brown thing we discussed the other day, where what 80, how many were?
That was
I don't
in
know.
the 70s.
But then how do you not cover it? How do you not cover it? Here's a tough one for the media.
Yeah.
I mean, 18 people, kids and all. I mean, how do you ignore it?
You have to cover it.
You have to cover
That's
it.
You have to cover it. There is.
But see, again, so this documentary also talks about the pressure that journalists and reporters get on uncovering new things in the case. Like, even when things are like they're not sure about something. They're like, for instance, there was this thing about the pipes that were hanging out of the apartment building. Okay, and there was like, I won't make the connection right now. There was like each pipe somehow connected to, there were 11 pipes. Like, okay, so 11 pipes. So 11 is like a number that is like appearing again and again. There were 11 diaries uncovered and all that. And the reporters just ran with it without any kind of like research or even talking to the construction guy who constructed those pipes. Okay, what is the purpose of this?
You're saying being irresponsible. But the way you're telling it right now, it sounds very riveting.
I know it. That's what the documentary makes that case.
My mind is fascinated by the fact that 11 is recurring.
Exactly. Yeah, there are other things also with the number 11 on the case.
The crime thriller king himself. These are the points that actually, how do we sound without sounding, voyeuristic to a disgusting degree because the 80 people dead?
No. See, I say that this show is out there. We didn't make it. We didn't kill these people. We can definitely talk about it. We're not wrong in doing
the
that.
Arushi murder, for that matter. I mean, I remember threadbare discussing with the people. I used to still drink in those days. Threadbare, and after some time, you're ruthless in your discussion. I mean, if you could just remove it out of context, it's ruthless. The things about the whole orgies and the parties, and you also heard all those rumors. And I mean, we just didn't hold back. It's just human nature almost to just get into it like that. And it's not like,
you get clinical about this stuff, right?
Clinical.
I mean, like, again, when you start talking about it over and over and over again, your degree of empathy starts going away because you start discussing it in like more and more detail, right? You forget the human element of it, and you start getting you get bogged down in the details, which allows you to get really kind of nasty about it.
We also want to solve it. That's another part of the human mechanism. Is even in this case, we mentions 11. Already, one's mind is thinking, what is the connection to solve it? Like, I can solve it. A lot of us have that kira that we'll solve it.
So that's a big activity for people. Now that's that. What's the Steve Martin and Martin Short show that's out right now?
Only Murders in the Building. Oh man, great!
That's about that only, no? I haven't seen it yet, but it's about that only, right? It's this voyeuristic. Oh wow, okay, somebody.
Vinit Khandelwal asked whether we've seen it.
That's the question, that's the behavior that they're targeting, right? The serial behavior, where people started doing like deep investigations into those crimes. So, and that's just one. I mean, that shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but we still, Arushi murder, we can still discuss. It just goes on if you want to get back into it, or they do a second movie on it or something. It's like the song "Who the Fuck is Alice?" Like, nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's at the end of it. There's no decision here. You tell me what's the decision. You've seen the film. You follow the case. What's the decision? Who killed her?
I have no idea.
You're just leaving innuendo out there. That's it. You're not telling me anything. You left all the theories, 3-4 theories out there, or maybe you're not even explored enough.
But I'll say this. I mean, like, I don't know who killed, who basically how Arushi died. I don't know that, but I know that there's not enough evidence to get anybody, right? There's just not, right? I mean, there's not enough evidence to arrest anybody.
I mean, there's so many of these stories, not just in India, all over the world, unsolved murder, and they've got these shows on which I also like to watch, unsolved crimes and or the cold crimes that come back to after many years. It's just amazing how you don't get it right. Also, you're not able to solve it with all the forensics and all that technology that's available. And I'll tell you, India, the problem with the police, they hold your hand and don't use handcuffs, and that's one of the reasons why we don't get a decision. So you promise me when they arrest you, you'll do this. And you do it like Amitabh Bachchan, no? Tang, a music will play in the background.
Dramatic.
Or the mandir bell will go. All that tang.
Aaj khush to bahut ho gaye tum.
And Inspector Gaitonde will be, "Kai karto? Haath niche rakh."
Give me pinky. We'll do pinky.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, next one.
All right, next one comes in from Naitik the Dagger. That's the handle. Says, in India, if the politicians are corrupt, bureaucracy is corrupt, cops, businesses, and general public is also corrupt, why aren't cricketers corrupt as well? Aren't the Indians too?
Good
So
point, but
cricketers were corrupt, right?
no,
We had a lot of these cases, right?
we don't know who's corrupt and who's not corrupt, honestly, to that degree. Here's my point. I think everyone's corrupt. It's a question of how far that corruption runs, the degree of the corruption. I think you have to aim low. Just aim low in life. Most people are corrupt. It's just impossible not to be. And even politicians abroad are corrupt. It's not like they're greater than ours. They just dress better sometimes, like Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah. How true do you think the statement is that everyone has a price statement that we hear that in movies a lot?
So there's this thing called the triangle of fraud. Okay, what allows somebody to rationalize fraud in their own head is this something that I can do, and there are three factors that are generally looked at over there, right? So
Can
the
you get
first
away?
is, can you get away with it? Am I able to get away with it? Can I
Are you,
rationalize it in my own head?
are you going to make a lot of money out of it? Is it worth it?
Well, I mean that honestly that doesn't matter so much because the value is not that important. People will
Okay,
do fraud over
go on then.
$10 and $10,000, right?
Then
But it's basically, can I rationalize it? Do I need to do it? Is it basically do I have some sort of a pressing pressure that I need to kind of get this? And is there an opportunity to do it? You put these three things together, and most people will commit fraud: pressure, ability to rationalize, and opportunity. That's all you need.
I have tried to steal my wife's bangles while she's sleeping. I had the opportunity. I had the desire to, but I couldn't get it off her
Yes.
wrist. I think she gained
That's-
weight after marriage. These things happen. It's stuck for life now. Yeah. I'll just stick to stealing her underwear. It's a much better thing. Easier thing to do. Silverie, squeeze one more in. I hate to tell you today, honestly, I have to walk the dogs because Maya's studying. So I've got
no
that
problem.
problem also.
No problem. This one comes in from Arpit Solanki. Just a comment, but very interesting. He says NCB has one of the poorest conviction rates. Hence, the process is used to torture as much as possible.
I think
And
so.
yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
But they could have called them back for questioning, just give them bail. You can call them back for questioning anyway, you give them bail, just don't keep them overnight in jail. We can treat them like common criminals. There should be a line between criminality and, whatever you want to call this. I mean, and then let them be proven to be guilty if they're pushers and running syndicates and, Arbaz, whatever his name is, sitting somewhere and I don't know, Bogota and, with a South American accent. And, I don't know if that's true. I find it hard to believe. These bunch of Bandra kids having a good time, nothing more than that. But if you want to make Narcos Bandra, then yeah, well, we've got the guys.
But it is the same. I mean, like it's the same thing as the Munawar thing. It's the same thing as all of these things, right? Where basically courts are not listening to what the Supreme Court has asked them to do, which is say bail in most cases, right? Do bail wherever possible.
Yeah.
Just do bail, right? Supreme Court has said
I
that.
always thought it was that way, Amit. That bail is given in all cases except the highest of the things like
Exactly.
treason, terrorism, murder, rape. There are just a few of them. In everything else, you have the right to bail ASAP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so bail should just be quick and easy, right? I mean, like it's insane that
Trials are spending
it's not-
20 years in jail and then they get proven innocent. What about those 20 years? But the case hasn't come up. We have stories like that.
No, there are many stories, many.
That's justice denied.
There was a person which I remember like a long time ago. Like this was like when I just moved back to India. I remember reading about this guy who got lost in jail. He had been in jail for 35 years and he had never gone to court. Right? They
Can you
basically
believe it?
just lost his paperwork. It was like somewhere.
Hence, the Supreme Court said, get rid of these
Yeah.
stories and make sure that
Yeah.
we get bail. So we only, by prioritizing who's the worst criminal and criminality, go down the reverse apex. That's the way you do it.
I mean, like it is. You should just look at bail.
Let
I like
us-
bail should be the rarest possible.
I'll take care of law. You take care of finance. And Silverie, you take care of pharmaceuticals. And we can run this country.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Also, Ruben David says Silverie actually sings really well, so I can take care of if there are any singing parts required. I'll do that.
How does he know you sing well?
I think I sang one line from Janu Meri Jaan right now, and he was able to tell from that. I don't know, but Ruben, thanks, man. Thanks for noticing.
Ruben,
Boss.
stop coming onto the cast. Stop it. This is not the kind of forum for that. Really.
All right, this last one,
Okay,
Cyrus.
guys, may I be excused?
Cyrus, last one is for you only. Only you can answer this. That's right.
Dinner time, aa bhi gayi.
Sorry. This one comes in from Shri Vatsa Pavaskar FYBCom C069. That's his handle, 069. He says, "Away for Cyrus. Where was Red Bull Soapbox held and how was your experience?"
3-4 years we did it. Oh God, in Powai, next to you.
Yeah.
In Powai,
at
down the
that-
slopes and all. You'll know the location.
the
doesn't
Supreme
mean-
building. That Star Wars kind of looking building.
All of
that's
Powai
that
used to come out. So come on, you must have
Yeah.
known about it. We've run it.
Yeah,
3 or
I
4
was
times.
there. I
Once
was
in
there
Bandra,
once.
once in Bandra, twice in Powai. That's my memory. It was great fun, by the way. Yeah? The last time it was with Baba Sehgal, who was rapping away throughout. So for me, I was on different levels. I was getting aroused, I would say. But yeah, it was great fun. Soapbox. Yep. All right. Speaking of soap and soup, I'll have to walk dogs and then eat food. Just tell me. I just want to know, what do you guys do at 7:04 or whatever? What would you be doing now? Amit, what would you do?
I will probably read a book of some nature or watch some.
So you're relaxed now. You're chilling. And
yeah, I'm done today. Today's a holiday for us now, so that's why. Otherwise, I'd be back at work.
Only we work.
I'll probably
regardless.
watch. I'll watch something. There's a series I'm watching.
Which one?
I'm actually rewatching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I'm watching that Only Murders in the Building, Steve Martin shot one. And the latest episode I haven't seen yet, so I'll probably watch that today.
I love him. I was just discussing with Gopal in the car in the morning after Kunal left in the afternoon how we feel Kunal is Larry. Because he lied and there's no reason why he's lying. There's no reason. What is he going? Gopal keeps saying, "Itna jaldi mein kyun hai? Kahan jate wo? Kya kaam hai? What is the karan? What is the reason? What is the end result? Give me a reason. I have a girlfriend who I want to meet in Bandra, anything." And we'd say, yes. There is no reason for running away from the shoot. No reason. This is Larry David. This is Larry David Indian version. No reason. With that, I leave you. Bitching about Kunal makes me very happy, guys. Please, anytime you want to do it, I'm up. I'm up for it. Okay. Good night then. Sweet dreams. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you. We need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus is joined by writer-director Faraz Arif Ansari to talk about their critically acclaimed short films, Sisak, Siberia, and the recent hit Shir Korma. On The Habit Coach, Ashton introduces us to Avinash BR, co-founder of Deep Rooted Company, and his take on the quality of the food and supply chain in India and current trends in the farming sector. On Naan Curry, Sadaf and Archit talk about the humble potato, right from its origin and trade history to the various ways it can be used in dishes and its health benefits. On All Things Policy, Aditya Ramanathan joins Aditya Parekh to discuss the UK's first ever national space strategy document and the lessons it may hold for India. And on Say No to Drama, Chetna slices through the drama of bad boss behavior and shares what it takes to be a good boss. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our others for that matter, please do tell a friend. We really appreciate you spreading this. Word of mouth helps a lot. And finally, this week, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Slay Coffee, and Intel. We really appreciate the support.
From uncensored and unfiltered chats with the who's who of the entertainment industry, I, Siddharth Kannan, bring your very heartcake chat show called Candid Kannan. Tune in every Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.